If you're thinking about moving to Repentigny, Quebec, well, stick around because I'll be sharing with you the pros and cons of living in Repentigny. Repentigny is located on the northeast side of Montreal. You drive east on the island of Montreal, you cross a bridge, and you arrive in Repentigny, Quebec. It's considered the eastern suburb of Montreal, and it is part of the Greater Montreal area. A couple of decades back, Montrealers had their summer homes in Repentigny, but since it has really developed into a really huge city. In fact, it's the second largest city in the Lanaudière area. And as of 2022, which is this year, its population is around 87,000 people. There's a lot of people in Repentigny, and what you'll notice is that the reputation of its people is really great. Apparently, it's one of the cities where people are the happiest. So, if you had to pick a city on the north shore of Montreal, Repentigny could be one of the options for sure. Before I hit the pros and cons, I'm just curious to know, have you ever lived in Repentigny? Do you know someone that lived in Repentigny, Quebec? If so, just write in the comments, what were the pros and cons? I'll read them, I'll comment them, and I'm really curious. Now, if you don't know me, my name is Gabriel Laflamme. I've been a realtor since 2009, and every single day I get emails, calls from people just like you that are looking to buy or sell a property in Repentigny, Montreal, the North Shore, the South Shore. So if you have a project, whether it's in a month, 6 months, a year from now, shoot us an email because my team and I were there to help to make your transition as smooth as possible. So the cons, the commuting time from Repentigny to Montreal is long because it's about 35 to 38 kilometers to hit the downtown area. So if you have to go there for work for any reason, traffic is not as bad on the eastern side of Montreal, but still, it'll take you a while to get to the downtown area. When I ask all my friends, friends that live on the North Shore, the South Shore, traffic is terrible. But when you go east to Repentigny, there's traffic, but it's not as bad. But the commuting time could be long, as I said, because it's a long way to get to downtown Montreal. If you like to have a lot of shopping options, well, Repentigny, you have some stores, of course. But if you need more variety, you'll have to go to Laval, to Carrefour Laval, South Shore to Quartier 10-30, or even downtown Montreal, because this is where you have all the different brands if you want to have more variety. Property taxes are reasonable in Repentigny, but if you live in one of those newer neighborhoods where you have newer park, newer school, newer street lights, well, obviously your property tax will be higher because you'll look at your property tax statement and you'll see the fifth line, local part. I don't know what's the exact term, but local tax, which is part of the property taxes, but you might pay slightly more than other people that live in Repentigny in older neighborhood. But at the same time, you got new infrastructure. So that's the side effect of having new infrastructure. Your property taxes are slightly higher. If you like fine dining, entertainment, you'll have to go to downtown Montreal because every time I call my friend Max, hey Max, let's go party, let's go celebrate. I don't ask him, let's find a restaurant in Repentigny or in Laval where I live. I'm like, let's pick a new place in Montreal. And in Montreal, there's tons of options. While in Repentigny, there's a few. But if you really want to party, celebrate, you'll go downtown Montreal. Crime rate is low in Repentigny. It's really low, which is good for your kids, which is good for your quality of life. But police officers have more time, I'm not saying they're not doing their job, but they have more time to look for people that speed on the road, so they give a lot of tickets. And I asked a couple of my friends, is it true that you get more tickets in Repentigny? Well, obviously they're biased because they live there, but they're like, yes, I don't normally have tickets, but every other year, I get a ticket within Repentigny because it's as if they're waiting for us to drive it just slightly above the limit. But on the other hand, if your kids go to school and you see a sign 30 kilometers max, and you see a police officer giving tickets to people that are speeding close to the school, you'll be happy because you'll feel safe about your kids. Think about it. Lastly, Highway 40 goes through Repentigny. So there's a good chance you'll hear the noise from the highway. But it's not as bad as, after a year you'll want to move. It's just that you'll notice. And if you live close to the water, you might not hear it, but central where the highway goes through Repentigny, you'll definitely hear the noise. Now the pros, the location of Repentigny is great. You have In the Lanaudière area, you have the city of Terrebonne and Mascouche that are nearby, really great cities. You have Laval that's just 20-25 minutes away. And of course, you got Montreal. So the location could not be greater for a suburb. So that's why a lot of people are saying, you know what, I could live in the eastern part of Montreal, but I'll live in the quiet Repentigny and I'll commute if I need to. The river and the green spaces in Repentigny are really great. You have the St. Lawrence River on one side, the l'Assomption River on the other side. But the main one is really the St. Lawrence River. And you got a bunch of different green areas where you can just look at the beautiful St. Lawrence River. So it's peaceful. You know, there's a park that I really love. I've been there several times with my friends. All my friends that live in Repentigny, they always talk about that park. I can't recall the name, so I'm gonna look at my notes. Le Parc de l'Île-le-Bel. It's nice in the wintertime, you got an ice rink where you can skate. But in the summertime, there's all sorts of events, you know. You go there for a picnic, you go there to play all kinds of sports with your family, and you just look at the St. Lawrence River. It's a beautiful spot. It's one of the most famous spots in Repentigny, and it's free. So, really great. And if you're into boats, well, you have a marina where you can park your boat and just enjoy, again, the St. Lawrence River. You have really great schools within Repentigny, French and English. The one being Félix Leclerc with a great sports program. And you also have a private high school that's not within the limits of Repentigny, but it's in l'Assomption. Really great. A lot of my friends, they're sending their kids to that school because it has a really great reputation. In Repentigny, there's minor local road congestion, which means that you could come from Montreal, you hit a bit of traffic, you arrive in Repentigny. But once you arrive in Repentigny, you could easily drive wherever you need to go in Repentigny. You go to the park with your kids, you go to for some shopping, the grocery store, everywhere you go, you can drive easily. So it's really nice because when you go to Laval, Montreal, or the South Shore, for instance, in Longueuil, you'll notice there's lots of traffic within the city. But Repentigny, you can drive really easily. There's really minor congestion. Public transportation are great. You got good buses that will get you around the city. But since 2014, there's the train that will bring you to Montreal. You can either stop in the northern part of Montreal, Métro Sauvé, the Sauvé subway station, or the Bonaventure subway station, which is in the southern part close to the downtown area. So if you don't want to drive to the downtown area, you use the train, which is really great. In terms of its services and activities, there's a bunch of things you'll enjoy. There's a birth center that was just built recently for women that will guide you from all the different steps pertaining to women having kids. I'm not a specialist because I'm a man, but you know what it means if you're a woman. Basically, all my friends, their wives and their girlfriend are really happy for this new birth center. It's really nice. You have also for older folks, you have senior residents that are present, but our new ones are getting built. You have a hospital that's just outside of Repentigny, like 5-10 minutes away, Pierre Lagardère Hospital. You got CLSC, which is our clinics, medical clinics that are like local, close to where you live. You'll have one for sure. So you have all the different services to make your life peaceful. And in terms of the activities, you have different options. You have the option of going to see a show, because in 2021, they built a small theater, and the name is Théâtre Alphonse Desjardins. And they call it the Espace Culturel, which is really great because you can watch a show. It's really intimate, but it gives you the option of going and watch a show instead of going to Montreal. You can watch a show within the limit of Repentigny. On top of that, your kids can play all kinds of sports. The city offers a great variety of sports. You got an indoor pool, you got an outdoor pool, which is, you know, everything you need to stay active all year long. Now, the parks and the bike path are really great. When I go visit my friends, I bring my bike. I have a bike that you can fold, put in your car. So I go there, and the bike paths are really great, especially those that go along the river. It's really, really nice. And the parks, there's tons of parks. And there's a lot of newer parks that were built in the last couple of years. And a lot of my friends enjoy the fact that they can bring their kids to the new parks, and the kids are all excited because they're like, hey, this is all new. The new infrastructure put by the city is really something you'll enjoy with your kids. Lastly, if you own a snowmobile, or if you're planning to buy a snowmobile, Repentigny is a great place to have fun with your snowmobile, because during winter time you can go on the river, and there's all kinds of places where you can have fun with your snowmobile. I'm not an expert, I'm pretty sure you can tell, but my friends that own a snowmobile, they're really excited. I'm like, hey Gabe, I'm going to go on my snowmobile. I'll be gone for like 6 hours. I'm so excited. Well, if you're excited about snowmobile, you'll have a good time there. So this is it for the pros and cons of Repentigny. If you have any comments, write them. I'll respond. And I'm curious, if you have any pros and cons from your perspective about Repentigny, write them down, because I'm curious to know. And lastly, if you have a project of buying or selling in Repentigny or in the North Shore, Montreal, the South Shore, my team and I were there to help. Shoot us an email and we'll guide you from A to Z. Lastly, if you like that video, stick around because there's more videos coming. In the meantime, take good care of yourself and I'll see you in the next video.